Hey guys, Raspberry here with a nice little tutorial for you guys. And one of you guys messaged me on Wednesday asking me about my render settings because it looked beautiful on my FIFA video. But as flattered as I am, these are just regular rendered settings that I use for almost all my videos. But I do switch between Adobe Premiere Pro CS6 and Sony Vegas Pro 12. So I'm going to show you guys some good YouTube rendering settings for both software. So let's start off with Adobe Premiere Pro over here. So when you start it up, you get a new project screen over here. So name your project. Let's just type in random letters right over here. And so you're presented to this new sequence scene. I have one set up right now, but we can set one up. And here's some settings that I use. I use editing mode as custom. Time base is 29.97 frames a second. I could change that to 60 if I want to. If you guys ever want to broadcast at 60 frames a second, by all means switch it to 60 frames. Frame size is 1920 by 1080p, so you get those 1080p videos that look really nice. Pixel aspect ratio 1.0, that works. Everything else you kind of get like a nice, not really a nice, but like you get black bars on the bottom or on your right side of your screen. So I just use square 1.0. Fields, no fields, progressive scan, like 1080p, not interpolated or anything like that. Display format, I didn't do anything to that. Sample rate, left it at regular, 48,000. If it's not at 48,000, don't really worry about it. As long as you have it at 44, 100, or 48,000, you're good to go. I don't even know. Display format, audio samples, that's all I use. Video previews, I didn't mess around with that at all. You don't need to worry about video previews. That just shows up at your screen whenever you're editing your video out. Tracks, didn't do anything to that either. So you guys can mess around with this. Pause the video if you guys want to. Save the sequence name, whatever you guys want. Just pause the video, copy those settings down, and you guys are good to go. So you click on that, you get a nice little screen over here. Put whatever video you want. I'm just going to put some audio serve videos right here. Change sequence settings. You guys can mix around with both of these. I use change sequence settings just because it's a lot more compatible with like the settings that I have in Adobe Premiere. So I just use that and change sequence settings. Let's just go through the export thing. So to render it for Premiere, if you guys didn't know, it is export. So export media, Control M. You could pick that. I just go the manual way because I like it. But you're given an export settings menu right over here, where my mouse is. Usually it's at, what's it called? AVI. Okay, so I put it down to H264 just because that's just how it is for me. I don't know. That's all, I've always used that. So I've had these three setups right here. You can go through any of these if you want to, but I use these three setups right here. I'm gonna go through the custom one, or actually no, not backup YouTube, custom one right here. And let me maximize this a little bit. There you go. Much better. So basic video settings, 1920 1080p for rendering. That's pretty cool. Frame rate for my custom one, it's at 60 whenever I want to upload at 60 FPS. But if you guys want to mess around with 30, or because most YouTube videos are still 30 these days because it does use less CPU power. So you could use 29.97 or 30, depends on what you guys want. This one's, there's nothing over there. Progressive scan, aspect ratio 1.0, NTSC or PAL. I just use NTSC because I'm North American, I guess. But profile, I use a high profile just to give it like, I think that's just more memory allocated to that. Or what is this? There you go. I'm wrong about that. Whatever. Level 5.1, go all the way to the max. Render at maximum depth. There you go. Bitrate settings, VBR2 pass. I think I had that setting for about like 2 or 3 years now. I couldn't remember what it really was. I think it's variable bitrate and it goes through the video twice. That's what it usually does with me. Like it usually like just renders the video through twice, and it has a good quality to it. 16 megabits. That's the target bit rate, and maximum bit rate 16. Tries to keep it constant, so I like to have it at that much. If you guys have like a computer that's a bit slower, feel free to mess around with the setting a bit. 16 worked for me the best. Sometimes I go down to like 12 or 13. It's really up to you guys on what you guys want to pick, but 16 works just fine to me. Use maximum render quality. That's good. Do not use frame blending. In my opinion, I think it looks kind of disgusting because it kind of like it kind of blends the frame together in the sense that it kind of has like a bit of motion blur to it. So if you guys want to have like good raw quality, don't use frame blending. That works just fine to me. Then all you do is you press Q, you go through the Adobe Media Encoder, or you could just do straight up export. If you guys have like different tasks that are running in the background, by all means use Q so it can render in the background while you can do whatever you guys want. But there's really not much of a difference. Estimated file size. The file size is going to be kind of big, and it's going to take a while for Premiere. So but it does give you that bit of an extra quality to it, you know. For Vegas, there's like a bit less quality that I've seen, but it's really not like what's it called, discernible. So it's really up to you guys. Forgot the audio settings right here. I just go use the AAC settings, sample rate 48,000 standard. Everything is like basically standard. Audio quality is high just because of like high quality. Bit rate, you can keep it at 192 if you guys want. Like that's really acceptable. I keep it at 320 just because I like it. It's really personal preference to you guys. I didn't change any of these other settings right here. Multiplexer, FTP, nothing. I didn't change anything else but just video and audio settings. And if you guys like the settings that you're at, by all means save it so you guys can come back to it later on and you could use it whenever you guys want. But that should be about it for Premiere. All you guys got to do is just press Q or export, and it's exported, and it'll be ready in about like maybe 30 minutes or so. Yeah, Premiere does take a while, so it's mainly CPU based. So there's that. So yeah, that's Premiere for you guys. Let's go to Sony Vegas Pro. So I already had a project going on in Vegas Pro, but I just picked the new project right here. So I just used the 1080p 60i, the interpolated template with 1920 height, 1080, 1920, 1080, simple as that. Field order, you guys can use progressive scan. I just use upper field. It's a default setting. It works fine to me. 1.0 square. Pixel aspect ratio, always keep it that way unless you guys want to use something else. Don't use any rotation. You don't need that unless you're really uploading something that's on those TV screens or something like that. I don't know. Frame rate 29970. That's regular NTSC frame rate. If you guys want to put it at 60 FPS, 59.94. That works just fine. Stereoscopic, you guys want 3D videos, you mess around with that. I don't want 3D videos, so I keep it 2D. Pixel format, default settings, full resolution rendering quality. You guys want to make the best videos on YouTube, keep it at the best quality. Simple as that. Motion blur type goes in. You really can't change that at all. Deinterlace method, I don't do that. It's just standard quality over there. You can switch out whatever you guys want to save your video to or your projects to. Audio quality, everything's standard quality, like whatever it comes in the box for Sony Vegas. Ruler, summary, nothing. I didn't change anything else. Whenever you upload your video over here though, keep in mind, let me try this. Right click on it, go to properties, and disable the resampling. That's the same thing as frame blending that Adobe Premiere Pro has, if you guys did not already know that. So I already talked that through at the beginning of this video, so just disable it. You don't need that. You can mess around with these settings if you want, like looping the video if you guys like want to stretch out the video so it starts from the beginning, but I don't do anything like that. So you go to render as if you guys want to render it out, or you guys can just work on your projects. I use main concept, AVC, AAC, which is like an MP4 or AVC. And you guys want to scroll down, you can use Internet HD 1080p or 720p, but I created a custom template, and I don't know why it's still at 720p, but I mess around with this a lot, so I can go to either 720p or 1920 by 1080. Those two. You don't really need to use HDV, besides it's 1440 by 1080, which is kind of a weird aspect ratio right there, but 720 or 1080p works just fine. Profile, just use main profile or high profile. You could use high just like Premiere Pro. And frame rate, you keep 970 works just fine. That works just fine unless you want to use like the source to adjust the frame rate. Progressive scan works fine. Same thing, basically the same thing as Premiere Pro. Pixel aspect ratio 1.0, reference frames 2. These are default settings really. Then variable bit rate, I like to keep the megabits at high, so I keep it at 24. But I usually like kick this up to 14 or 16. and I'd like to keep it kind of constant, like they're kind of close to each other. So maybe I just put it down to like 16 million bits or 16 megabits. And I didn't mess around with the settings. Number of, I don't know what it's a number of. Number of elephants, I don't know. But encode mode, there's 3 encode modes: CPU, OpenCL, CUDA. AMD cards usually use OpenCL. NVIDIA cards use CUDA. If you got a really good high performance card, use CUDA. And if you got from NVIDIA, if you got a high performance card from AMD, use OpenCL. You can mess around with that. You can check the GPU in the systems tab right here. So check GPU, CUDA is available, because I'm an NVIDIA guy. So I use CUDA, and that usually decreases my video render time to maybe around like 10 minutes to 5 minutes. It's crazy fast. But sometimes you guys might run into some video uploading errors. Like there was a video I uploaded 2 years ago that kind of had like some like green grain going all over the video. So there's that. You might run into video uploading errors and stuff like that. Audio rate 48,192. See, I didn't kick it up to 320 kilobits a second. So I just keep it at 192. Really, there's not much of a difference if you guys just want like a standard audio quality or a good video quality kind of video. But let's keep moving. Video rendering quality, best. Stereoscopic, do you guys want 3D? Really? Use project settings, so whatever. Color space default. And that really should be it. And all you just gotta do is press render, and it should upload just fine. Make sure you name it to whatever you want. Just don't keep it untitled, because I've done that and it's overwritten files before. It's not cool. So do that. View all options. You really don't have to mess around with it. These are just the basic settings that I use, but they get the job done. But if this really helped you guys out, be sure to like or give me a thumbs up, whatever you guys want, whatever makes your day. And if you guys want to subscribe and see some future gameplay videos like here and there, I do Battlefield and a bit of Counter-Strike and other FPSs and FIFA if you guys are into soccer and football. But yeah, if you guys want to stick around for that in the near future, be sure to subscribe to me, and I'll get you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.